Hello, good news. The problem of integrating AI into your work as good or better than anyone else who's doing it at an even lower cost, this problem has been solved and it is yours for a low fee of $29. No salespeople, no AI agencies in your business locking you in, no fine tuning models, just this app that calls Grok and records conversations. Do you spend a lot of time at the computer moving data from one source to another? And are you talking on the phone? Are you talking with coworkers, collaborating, talking to clients in sales, in customer service, doing scheduling? Well, this not only records your voice going over the microphone, but it can also record through whatever sound is coming in over the system. If you don't have a phone program that you're sending and receiving calls to and from on your PC, then you can connect your iPhone or Android over your computer, and that'll turn your Windows 11, which is what this program is on, into a Bluetooth. So you can just connect a headset to your computer and then be getting this AI assistance. And then you're able to ask it a question whenever something is coming up. So you can get an answer, a long answer, a short answer, an answer about sales, an answer about something technical. Whoever you are, whatever you're doing, it's going to give you the answer. And it also takes a screenshot if you would like. So an example, getting the screenshot here. If, for example, you're dealing with an email and you want to get the information from that, then forget about the transcript, clear the transcript, and just ask the AI, and it's going to take a picture of that. And the issue there, you might want a specific prompt that extracts and then sends it. Well, this app has Salesforce integration. So let's do the CRM enabled. Salesforce will be creating contacts if we're looking at an email or having a conversation to and from a new contact. So let's save that and let's ask and see what it has to say about this email. So it has extracted that information. So we're going to press the send button and send that off to Salesforce. So hopefully you get a window like that, which you can close. And then going into Salesforce, let's refresh the page and see if that contact was added. One more time. So there's the contact there, and let's get those details. And there are those details we had in that email. So very fast, very efficient if you're doing a lot of this. And you can create other objects depending on your situation: leads, cases, tasks, opportunity, event. Also, RAG. You can create a local, very fast body of information for the model to reference. So let's do something here with this same file, something like an email, which you could put all emails, any piece of text into this RAG system, which is just like custom files. So you have the model, which was trained on the whole world, and then you could put all of the files that are relevant to you. And that's more local context, local to your world. And then we're going to make sure that is indexed, loaded up, embedded, save that. And let me make sure I've enabled RAG mode. So saving that. Now let's also turn off the CRM, because maybe in this case we're just talking. So We don't need to take a screenshot. We're going to clear the transcript. And now I'm just talking with someone. I need a fact. I need a piece of information. I need the phone number of Goldie Jolie. That last name is spelled Jole, and I make sure to spell things out because I am talking to something that transcribes voice. So very important to speak very clearly to the voice transcriber, which, by the way, works on a laptop. Not something you need to pay for, runs locally, and then I can ask it the question and get this phone number. So phone number's there, comes up, and can come out of a very large set of data. There's our transcript there, talking about getting that phone number, which doesn't match exactly, but the AI is very good at parsing this kind of rough data that's being transcribed live. Okay, and following what's going on there, let's test it again without RAG enabled to show you that now it is just calling the model. It is using, of course, the voice. That transcript is still in there. I'm not going to record it again, but it's going to call on that same transcript we have open up here. And now it's going to try to find this phone number again. And of course, it doesn't know what this is or who this is. But when it comes to you and your local company and the things that it should know, email of a client, an associate, or a connection from one client to another, really the endless number of text and data files you can load into this RAG system gives you a huge boost. And this tool, this is something very flexible. There's a lot of talk about building agentic workflows and chain of thought reasoning into your existing areas where you need a little bit of common sense intelligence distillation, where you have things that are repetitive. You'll get an AI agency recommending they build custom software into that workflow in order to do all sorts of things. And I think this is better. I think I have the Salesforce in here for you already, which is something an agency would charge you to build that into your existing system, but it's already here. And this is $29 a month, and it is a $7, 7-day free trial. So $29 per seat. There are no salespeople to talk to. There is no enterprise or business tier that I will charge any extra for or dangle any extra features in front of. I will continue to build features, and I will update this model. And this model is just about the best model in terms of GPT-5 is out there, Grok 4 is out there. As long as you're not doing some highly advanced chemistry or very special deep knowledge research, then this model is good, and this one is also good enough for a lot of tasks. But this one is very intelligent, very endless horizon and deep understanding of a lot of things. And this is Grok, G-R-O-Q. You control your own API key. To get an API key, you just click that button, and then what's the catch? What is the extra fee in addition to that $29? Well, it's not much. When you're dealing with Grok, I have called this a lot, just testing this app. And I only owe 11 cents this month and about 5 cents before that. So very cheap, the number of calls. And then what else can I tell you? How about the fact that when it is time to connect this system that takes a screenshot, stops recording, asks the AI, and has all of your RAG files, which you can fill this up to almost eternity and have a conversation that is 60 hours long. What you can also do with this after you sign up and get on board for $29 a month, if you do when you do want to contact an AI agency or get the intern to vibe code up connections to build something that calls tools, something that does scheduling, something that might call that highly advanced model that gives some very deep research, the $200 a month OpenAI model that's going to give you a deep research report on some conversations which you can store here before you do the clear, when a conversation starts, and then a conversation ends. Then you can call the Grok model, which is a very good model, and then you can save that transcript, and then you can use this in other ways for scheduling, for escalating. You can have the AI looking across all conversations with all customer support and all sales. If some VIP is calling and that needs to be escalated for an executive, somebody higher up to deal with, you can have that escalated. So you can have another model reviewing the opinion of the local model and looking at all the transcripts and clearing it. And then as far as when we talked about having a phone system, maybe you have an existing phone system that people make calls with over the computer. You can connect something up so that when the conversation starts, when a call is answered or a call is placed and some person picks up, then that can send out and hit this endpoint, which effectively presses this button on the app, starts recording, stops recording, asks the AI, and then gets the answer, and then saves the transcript, and then clears it and is ready for the next one. So you can do training, you can review conversations, you can get special insights, you can implement the testing of a new technique. You can gauge sentiment of the customers on one technique for 1 month, and then sentiment of the customers for another technique on the next month. You can have the AI prompt say something like a review every 3 minutes into the conversation, and then you can have it giving some kind of feedback of at what minute mark into the conversation should your salesperson have been attentive to, or what the customer service person should have done in a situation by a 6-minute mark or 9-minute mark. So endless amount. If you're technical but you're good at sales, you can have this helping your technical associates be better at sales, or vice versa. And here is the app, and you just sign up. It's as simple as that. I think because in the last 2 or 3 years, of course, we have gotten used to the interface of typing a lot into these chatbots and then getting the answer and uploading files. And then we're hearing about this new AI that's trying to do everything. That we have AI in the browser, AI taking control of the browser, AI taking control of your operating system. And you say, whoa, I don't trust that. I don't know what it's doing. It's moving files. What is it doing there? And that might be causing the same bit of anxiety when you hear about something like this. Like, oh, it's listening to me. Oh, it's looking at the screen. Well, obviously, I don't have to tell you, you shouldn't have social security numbers being sent off to this Grok company, and don't tell it anything you don't want it to know. But really, it's just another way of typing. It's like typing with your words. It's creating a transcript, and it's the same as uploading a photo. Hopefully, if you have this clicked, you're already within the prompt telling it what the prompt screenshot should be extracting. I have other stuff off screen here, but when I clicked the asked the AI with the screenshot clicked, and it extracted all of that information from that email, this faux email I had opened up. It knew what it was supposed to go after. So it's really just that faster, more simple step to getting you what's important now. An acronym, the WIN system. And the question of what's happening now, what's important now, that's just another way of saying focus. So what you want is focus, and you want the AI to be there with you without having to stop and creating this parallel representation, remake, dramatization of what you need and what you're doing, re-explaining the whole situation. It's a waste of energy. So it's not controlling anything. It is not listening. It doesn't have its own volition. And that's a bit of a misnomer where integrating AI into the workplace, at first it was about fine-tuning a model for your local data, which is a really bad idea because it's very expensive, because you won't find someone with the skill locally to train your model. It's a very rare talent. It's very hard to do. Even if you live in Silicon Valley, people who are good enough to fine-tune a model and have it be really good and useful, that's only a few dozen people who are really good at that, or a few thousand, and they're working in advanced research. They're working for these big labs. They're not working for your business, unless you are a very big business, and then OpenAI will take your money. But even still, I think I'm a better option than letting OpenAI train a model on your data, because what you want is to give it the key information, what's important now, and get this Grok model, because it is very fast, among the fastest, among the best, and among the cheapest, to give you that answer. So where was I? So continuing about your options. OpenAI, if you have millions of dollars, and then if you just have the low six figures, an AI agency will fine-tune a model and build it into your workflow. And they will do agentic workflow automation, enterprise AI, chain of thought reasoning, these things, which probably are a good return on the money for 5 or 6 figure contracts. There are issues with that. The issues are that you're basically locked in. They're controlling what models you're calling. They decide if a model is 50 times more expensive than Grok, and they've just decided that they think you should have that model, and you don't know the difference between models. You don't know that GPT-5, which is a much, much bigger, much more intricately sophisticated trained model, that it's really in most cases not much better than the Maverick model. Although it has 150 IQ, I mean, what does your workflow really entail? Is it something where everyone at your job needs to have 150 IQ and have this deep specialty insight and do really highly advanced non-Euclidean geometry? This is probably more than sufficient. So if you're going with one of these AI agencies like I have here, building this custom agentic workflow, this might be your other option. So building all that in there, they're building custom software into your process, and not even taking advantage of the transcript or taking screenshots, but noticing that when something is entered into Salesforce, that a new Salesforce entry also gets sent off to something that assigns it to a salesperson. So maybe you have an agent that an AI agency builds in something that pulls a department finance contact and vice president. Okay, that gets sent off and reviewed by someone. So you have an AI agency build a workflow for that, and maybe they do scheduling for that contact. And that's not nothing. I mean, especially over a few months, maybe even a year, that's worth the intelligence, the freed up effort and bandwidth and time. But it's going to be fairly brittle because we talked about the API. It may not be able to change it very easily. It may be difficult to upgrade. You know, they're going to build RAG into that system. Here I have RAG pointed at a system, a type of workflow, and it's whatever you're talking about and it's whatever you're looking at, and it has RAG ability here connected, and that's just going to depend on your prompt, like types of workflows that you might connect a AI chain of thought into. So these are things that they will build. Even with vibe coding out there, custom software is not cheap. And what else is the downside? It might not be as easily future-proof. When they do change the model, they're going to change the RAG. When I will change the model, you'll see it right here in this drop down. And if you want to check for an update, you can check it right there. And I'm not going to be in a situation where you have to call me. I'm a freelance person. I'm giving all of this stuff with every feature possible out there. So there's going to be no need to contact me to update. I won't be calling any possible client to update, which you will encounter when the next generation of models with new capabilities comes out. I will have it here, and I will keep creating new tabs to use that for the same $29 a month fee, unless something really big changes. Okay, so that's the point. This is brittle. You have less control, not as flexible with this. The workflow that you're putting the AI integration into is whatever you're looking at, whatever you're working on. Okay, so that's one fee. Your next option with integrating AI into your workflow is going to be getting an AI SaaS software, which could be, you know, a situation where it might have all the features that I'm showing. And give me 1 second here. It might have all those features that I'm showing, and then it might have, let me see, it might have a web of some CRM connections integration, or it might have RAG, but there's going to be a little bit of, how could I put it? Nickel and diming. Is nickel and diming the word? When you get ready to buy with these SaaS companies, these VC-backed companies, as opposed to me, the $29 flat fee freelance developer. When you're dealing with these VC-backed SaaS software companies, they're not going to tell you $29 for enterprise, $29 for business. They're going to say, contact us. Contact us, and we will offer you more features, like not everybody for the $29 gets the RAG. Not everybody gets the Salesforce integration. Not everybody gets these endpoints that you can connect any other process to open the app up to your other processes, which I'll pull up this image again, N8N, or whatever the hot agentic workflow is now. This is already ready, and I will continue building features. So I hope I get that point across. As I said in the outset of this video, this is your best option, my $29 flat fee, and it is future-proof. It is flexible, and everyone in the company can have their own API key. Let's go back in here. $29 per seat. And then you can give each employee their own API key to use. So then you'll know if you get a spike who is using the app. Maybe someone had this on a laptop and they took it home, and they're using a lot. You can revoke their key and consider that as a demerit in terms of things they're costing the company. And let me go into detail about that. And let me circle back to the custom agentic workflow by the AI agencies and maybe even the SaaS, is that when it comes to your OpenAI or your Gemini API key, literally the thing that gives you access to call the model, that your debit card or your credits of API calls is being charged. So your credit card is connected to this, kind of like, who even charges by the minute anymore? Like, remember when text messages used to have a cost, or ringtones, and an employee gets one ringtone and then they're charging up 100 ringtones? Those API keys, the question is who has control of it and who holds it? Well, with my app, you hold it, you control it, you enter it once. Like in this case, employee Bob, employee laptop Bob has their API key, but they do not know what that is. You will enter it, and then if you also have the password to that computer, if you're the administrator to all of your system computers, then you get the password to where this is stored on the system, which is behind app data. So the C drive, users, username, something app data, you can put that behind password protection. That's where this is stored. Every one of these instances of this Win system, What's Important Now system, has a license key for the $29 a month. When that is entered, that is stored in the same place behind a deep directory inside Windows that you could put a password on. And what else? Your CRM client ID for Salesforce. That is also stored deeply in the computer with this other key. So it is never revealed to the person using the computer, but if you are the system administrator and you have the app data folder behind a password, then you can have that so that only you have the access to it, and then you can go in there and delete it. Okay, I think that just about covers it. So I talked about how you have security, you have control. In another situation, you might deal with a developer shop building your agentic workflow with very expensive, brittle, custom software that's not future-proof, and they may hold your API keys, and they may be charging you some multiple. They may be telling you that every call to the API is 22 cents when it only costs them 3 cents. And those people are making so much money and they're so in demand that they can charge whatever they want. So you probably will get a return on investment from them if they're good, but usually the calls are pretty simple. And it's usually, as many different ways as I can say this, is going to be good, but really it's not something that's happening in abstract out there in some possible future. Your workflow is what you're working on. It's what you're looking at when you're taking data from some area and bringing it to another area. And they're calling them agents, agentic, human in the loop. It's not really agentic. It's really just an AI distilling information and possibly calling tools. But what they will always tell you is human in the loop. And if there's a human in the loop, it's not really something that is an agent with agency. Agency like making decisions, doing things of its own volition. Okay, so that's about security, and maybe you don't want, as I talked about earlier, the AI listening in, the AI looking. But you've been using Siri for more than 15 years, I would guess. Not very well, but the fact that you can say, "Hey Siri," and it hears you, does that not mean it hears everything? Or, "Hey Alexa," or "Okay Google," or if you talk about cat food and then you get an advertisement for cat food on your phone, even though you don't have a cat. So these things have been here for a while, and I think your fear when this is in your business workflow and it's calling to this third-party company, my biggest fear would be that they're going to compromise my leads, my clients, maybe sell those to my competitors. And, Google, Siri, Alexa, Facebook, they've had access to all of that data. They know where you work. They know where you go. They know who your contacts are. They know who you associate. They've known that for 20 years, and you don't really see cases of them selling to your competitors. I'm not looking at your data. I'm definitely not storing any audio. I mean, this is running locally. For me to extract audio files and all of the audio files of anyone who would use this, no thanks. There's really no reason to do that. I am a solo developer. That's the other thing when you deal with these AI SaaS software companies who will nickel and dime for different features and different tiers and not give you the price and get a sales fleet involved with you if you're interested to see how much they can get you for. Not only are they charging you that, they're also going to use your data to train other models with. And I can't promise Grok won't do that, but Grok doesn't have your email address. You're going to be signing up if you use my service with an email address, and your email address, create an account, email address goes in there. So I would have that, but I am not, I can't imagine a situation where I would be involved with using your data to train models. I think when it comes to the hype in AI and people building services to get people using the AI to then use that in the future for training data, I don't think they're going to identify who you are necessarily. I don't know. It's Grok. I mean, you're probably already using AI if you're watching this video and just want to know a good way to integrate it. And hopefully this is a good way to integrate it. And so, yeah, just trying to address this next step. Not typing, but audio that's being transcribed and sent. There is a little bit of a whoa, pump the brakes. I don't know if I'm comfortable, but they don't necessarily have your email address. I technically would have your email address, but I'm not in the business of extracting your questions and answers and transcripts for training data. And really, it's something that you're going to be more in control of. I think maybe most in control of other services. So, also lowest cost, and hopefully I'm giving you the most features for anyone, anywhere, for a flat fee. Okay, so I hope I have really covered that. Let's see this one more time. Isn't this great? The fact that it doesn't know the phone number when RAG is not enabled, but then I just enabled it. It still has that in the conversation. And now it does know the phone number and instant that fast. And this will work for any information, every single email, all of the customer service texts, all of the product information, every contact. If you wanted to create some kind of a, I don't know, connection between cities, who is the salesperson that handles a certain account. Okay, so hopefully that's covered. All right, thank you so much, and I will be available for contact, not only below in the comments, hopefully, but what I will really be paying attention to is if you send me an email, any feedback, any support, if you have any issues, and any features you would like built in. As the years go on, the next 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, can you imagine the capabilities we're going to have? As Mark Zuckerberg said, the new AI systems they're building, and his quote was that he would rather lose hundreds of billions of dollars trying to win the AI race rather than spending nothing. So this is the new server he's talking about building. And they've all of them, Elon Musk and Google, all of these companies, not only building monstrous sized AI server farms, they're creating nuclear power plants. 3 Mile Island was started up again by Microsoft. That is just to say, however you feel about that, you're going to have so much more intelligence coming, and every 6 months and every year people say that's as good as it's going to get, and we've plateaued. I don't know about that. It's kind of like this thing has continued to scale. We've gone from something like when we had the ImageNet contest in 2012 and different images were recognized, and then 2015, 2016, the image models were able to recognize beyond what a human was able to recognize as far as different species of plants and different species of animals. And it has really kept pace, and it's really just the number of neurons in these models, the artificial neurons. And it's a bit like going from a bee to a mouse to a dog to a chimpanzee, especially with mammals, that prefrontal cortex. A human's prefrontal cortex is only 50% larger than a chimpanzee's, and look at the amount of intelligence that, well, maybe not all, but a good portion of humans have more than chimpanzees. And this thing is not slowing down, not stopping. But I think what will always be relevant is to not only have that big model, which in the case is this model, which is highly sufficient, is a very big, very deep world model, probably trained on all of the information that humans have ever created. But then you have a local body of information, general things, your general world. If it's not about everything from your business, maybe all of your journals, do you write books, all of your conversations in here. You know, this is something where you can go into whatever language models you use, and there's going to be a lot of copying and pasting, but extracting every conversation, putting that in the model. So the very long-term and long-range intelligence in here, and then the more local memory, and then the what's happening now. Not only your questions, but the kind of life happening as it's happening, what you're doing, and what insights you can get from the model. And we can think about that in ways like, as someone I saw talking about it, you know,
The Joe Rogan
it's going to be the
Experience.
question of how.
And then we got AI on the way. And when real
and is out there,
how to use it in the future.
that Joe.
So this guy.
Books.
Right.
Here's
right,
my
right.
favorite articles I've been cutting and pasting over the 10 years and log all that in. And here's all my journals, whatever, the people out, and log all that in so I can ask it questions based on that.
Right.
And basically learn more about myself.
Right. You could actually ask it, hey, based on what you know about me, like what books do you think I would find interesting? Yeah.
Where do I stand on the political spectrum?
Right,
Blah,
right,
blah, blah,
right.
blah.
That's kind of a, how do you not, okay, you want to know where you stand on the political spectrum, whatever. You've had that ability. I noticed that was something he said, but you are already able to do that. Like, you can create your own GPT. You can already add files. Where do you add the files? Yeah, you can already upload the files. This has been the case almost since ChatGPT came out. You can already do that. So a little bit interesting. It's going to be it's going to be in question not only how to use the AI, but also as the AI starts doing more and more, your use and relationship with the AI is going to need to remain flexible. So having an AI agency build things into the workflow, I'm sure there's a lot of alpha there and value there to unlock, but having this and always being working and doing things, collaborating, being in sales, dealing with customers, dealing with data on the screen, being at work, I hope that this is a flexible and most future-proof use of AI. And like he was talking about, Mr. McConaughey there, adding the context to find out things he might not know. Problem with asking about things you don't know is that would be the known unknowns you can try to ask about. But if you're having conversations and you have a prompt and there's something you don't know, or what should an expert know? What are the rookie mistakes? And what should I know in this prompt for what I'm doing? And then everything you need to know about who I am and my context. And then from action in the world, and then from interacting with other people, then you can really get the insight, I think. So even more than dealing with a custom model with your own files alone and asking it questions, I think this is the way to go. So thank you for your attention, and I hope to hear from you. And have a nice day.